Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. I'm coming back at you today with my first in my fall card series. I'm calling it Hello Autumn. This is for 2021, and today I'm bringing you a couple more cards created with the Elegant Butterfly stamp and die set from Whimsy Stamps. And to me, these have a fall vibe. They're not over the top, in your face kind of fall. I guess it's more of a suggestion because of the color scheme and just kind of the way I interpret those backgrounds. But both of the backgrounds are pulls from my jelly plate. I always have a hard time saying that. And the idea that I had when I was stamping these was, of course, to use my gel prints. But I really wanted the fall vibe, and to me, a Monarch butterfly always has a fall feel because of those autumnal colors, those beautiful rustic colors that a Monarch butterfly has. And yeah, they always say autumn to me. So that's kind of the vibe I was going for here, was a Monarch. And you know, it's a loose suggestion. It's art. But I wanted to have this watery background, so that's why I'm using my Distress Oxides. So I have Fossilized Amber at the bottom, Wild Honey in the middle, and then Spiced Marmalade will be my final color at the top. And I wanted that ombre, but I wanted the loosey-goosey watercolor, so I spray both my paper and my stamp so that the ink is wet and it bleeds. I want that. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to heat emboss with the detail over the top of that loosey-goosey watercolor effect. And it gives it a really cool layered look, kind of like it's offset and accidental, but it's very much on purpose. And I like it. I like it a lot. Now for this one, I could not let all that ink go to waste, so that's why I decided to make a second one. But I had blotted so much of the Fossilized Amber off in the beginning that I just had to go back and put one more layer. And you know what? I never like to waste my ink. I think you guys may have learned that by now if you've been with me for any amount of time. I don't like to waste the ink. But I also realized that if I don't just make a decision to stop, I'll just go back and forth forever. So anyway, I got very impatient, so I decided to hit both of these stamped images with my heat tool till they were dry. And of course, I'm using an embossing bag so that I don't get embossing powder everywhere, which tends to be what happens with me. So I lined my images back up in my Misty, put the stamp back in and hit it with some Versamark, and now I'm about to heat emboss with my Wow embossing powders. So this darker of the two is from the Seth Apter collection. It's called Rusty or Crusty Copper, and then the second one is called Earth Tone Honey. They're both beautiful. And then of course I die cut them out with the coordinating die from Whimsy, and I love it. I don't often get the coordinating dies, but I'm glad I have this one. You could see there on the left was that Unity stamp set. It is called the Daily Hugs and Wishes. It's the March 2021 sentiment kit, and I used the Thinking of You stamp for the sentiment on one of them, and you can kind of see the stamp there in the bottom right corner. Here I'm trying to figure out which pull I want to use. Now I know I want that blue one because to me that's like a bright autumn sky, and I'm just trying to figure out what else to use. I really like the green one. I like the yellow up against the green, those darker autumny colors as well. But then when I pull this black one out, yeah, that's the one. That to me says like a moody, stormy fall sky. And of course it has the purple and the green, so that actually could have been easily a Halloween pull. But I just really liked it for these images. I felt like this was the perfect moody, stormy sky background. Even though obviously it doesn't scream sky, it's my interpretation of a sky. And so now I have these little extras. They're from die cuts, and they make perfect little edges, little borders. And I think doing this adds a nice border or a frame to your image, or it can highlight the panel, and it extends the length or the width, right? Maybe you cut your panel just a little too short, or the background or the image isn't quite big enough for the space that you want to put it in. You put a little border like this on it, just a little trim, and it extends it just a little bit. Even if it's only visually extending it, it just adds just a little bit of something something. And I love it. I think it pulls out some of those lighter tones in that panel, and it adds a neat kind of extra dimension on the end, and I just think it's really cool. And so I used my coordinating butterfly die to cut out the fun foam so I could have some lift. And it's a double-edged sword, because if you've ever cut fun foam with a die, you know fun foam kind of spreads out, and so it ends up being wider or fatter, or whatever term you want to use, than your image. So getting it to line up properly can be a challenge for sure. So I'm not always a fan of that, and I kind of wish I hadn't done it, because I just can't line them up properly, because the fun foam ends up being wider than my actual stamped image. So anyway, you know, pros and cons. So I figured it out. But anyway, I layered them both up with the fun foam and mounted them on the panels, and then I went back in with my sentiments. So I used the Thinking of You. You can actually see it there. My chess boy's making an appearance again. I used the Thinking of You from the Unity card kit. There you can see I cut it out with a fishtail banner and added it to my card base. Simple cards, but they're so pretty. There's so much texture and movement going on with these cards. I think they're gorgeous, both of them. And I love that you can see the grungy edge bits on these. And this one I have She Is Brave, and that is from one of the Tim Holtz Ideology metallic quotation sticker packs. And I just thought it's very simple, but there's a lot going on. So simplicity, you know, it kind of balances it out. So guys, this is my take on 2 autumnal cards using the elegant butterfly stamp and coordinating die from Whimsy Stamps. And again, they don't scream fall, but to me, it's my interpretation of fall with these butterfly stamps. I love them. As always, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not already a member of my crafty tribe, you can hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. And this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. I'm out.